The following podcast contains strong language and alternative facts. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Heel Podcast. Over the airwaves and under the influence, we are Turning Heel.
Let's get this shindig started. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Turning Heel Podcast with me, the Griz, and with me as always, being accompanied by Fergal, it's Chris motherfucking Hughes.
Fergal is definitely going to dig his claws at me by the time this episode finishes. So when he does, and I scream like I've never screamed before, it's not because I enjoyed TLC. Ooh, shots fired. I'm joking, I did actually enjoy TLC.
I was going to say.
I do have quite a bit of... I do have something that I want to rant about, though. We'll get there.
Okay. Well, we'll get there when we get there, I suppose.
I can already tell you that me and you are going to disagree on it, but... Excellent.
So this will be a good little... Great, this will be a fucking another half an hour rant that we're going to go on. When was it? It was earlier on this week. Me and Robert done an episode on AEW and NXT from last week. Obviously, that's not been put up yet, so this is all kind of going to come out as a double bumper episode because of problems with downloading and whatnot. You know, the usual shit, because we can never seem to just get a podcast out clean without fucking problems.
See, I was about to say, the thing I've always said, this place would go to shit without me. That one episode that I was on, technical issues, but then the one before it that I was on also has technical issues.
Yep. We're just fucking cursed, man, honestly. But we are here to talk about...
man. We're carnies.
Yeah, exactly.
We're carnies with microphones.
Yeah, well, look all the Mizarks that are around here. Yeah, daddy. So, why don't we get started? Let's just dive right into it because we have got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So, match number one on the pre-show was the 8-man tag team match with Otis, Chad Gable, Daniel Bryan, and Big E taking on Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. And bizarrely, this was one of these very few pre-show matches that stemmed a lot into the actual main show, because there was at least like 3 segments between Sami Zayn and Big E throughout the rest of this pay-per-view. So... End of this match came with Big E hitting the big ending on Sami Zayn. I
genuinely thought this was match of the night.
Really?
Absolutely spectacular.
I mean, I watched it on silent as we were kind of getting ready because I was planning on watching this obviously before we recorded, but something happened at my place. Something where someone done something that he wasn't invited to and tried to let himself in, let's just say. And I'm still here doing a podcast. This is how much I care. So it's now been announced that on Christmas Day, Big E will take his crack at the Intercontinental Championship as he takes on Sami Zayn. And that is going to be a nice little Christmas present for everyone involved. So let's see what happens on Christmas Day.
Big E wins. Also, I was only joking about it being the match of the night. I never watched it.
Jesus. Yep.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds like you not watching.
Do you know? I nearly watched TLC live. Because I got very drunk on Sunday and went to bed early. And I woke up at about 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to put it on. And I put it on, and fucking it was at the I can't even remember what match it was on, but
Quite late on.
It wasn't quite late on, but it was obviously a fair few matches in, and the only reason I didn't keep it on was because the commentators referenced Drew versus AJ, so I'd missed that match, and I was like,
and you were like, off. Yeah, because like that was the thing. Was like I was like, oh well, like I'll just watch the pre-show match later, because it's a pre-show match. Normally it doesn't matter, so they won't mention it. And then, as I said, there's the running story throughout this entire pay-per-view where they mentioned it several times. It's like, well, that's a result of that match spoiled.
Well, they usually always announce who won the pre-show match during the main show.
I know, but it's always kind of one of these things. It's like on the pre-show, and then I could just go la 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 la. On the few times where I don't watch the pre-show in advance, but you know, I also hadn't seen SmackDown from Friday, and I was like, better watch up first.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, me and wrestling. There's so much wrestling and so little time, especially at Christmas. You know, tip your posties is all I can say. They do. They genuinely work fucking hard. That's not even me being like, I'm a postie, and people give me money. Like, Jesus Christ, you don't know the kind of shit that we're going through right now.
That's totally you. I'm a postie, give me money. And as much as that is you doing that, I completely agree. And I will leave £20 nailed to my front door tomorrow for my postie. Gavin.
Good to know.
I don't even know if Gavin's his name, but I've decided that's his name now. So if I ever refer to Gavin going forward,
I was about to say, how do you know?
I may have had a few pints, by the way.
Yeah, we're nearly an hour and a half into our Skype call, and this is us just starting. Because we've had all a plethora. We should have just hit record as soon as we came on. To be honest,
I still think talking shit should be a thing. We just get shit-faced, press record and see what happens. It's basically what turning heel is, except it doesn't need to be exclusively about wrestling.
But wrestling normally comes up anyway, so. So, match number 1 in the main show was the WWE Championship match as AJ Styles took on Drew McIntyre. And what a way to start off the show. I was
shocked this was the first match.
So was I. And you know what? Like,
well, I thought if they were going to do a TLC match as the first one, it'd have been Roman Kevin Owens. I'm like, all right, okay. Roman Kevin Owens also makes sense to be the main event because it's Roman Kevin Owens.
And
because it's Roman in it, and that wasn't the main event either. It was very strange.
Well, I'll quickly bash through the notes I have because obviously I go a bit more ham when it comes to pay-per-views. So, Drew got a chance to go for the belt a couple of minutes in. Styles stops Drew with a chair to the knee, and then that seems to be AJ's plan of attack throughout the rest of the match. A bit later, there's an attempted Styles clash on the ladder, but Drew counters into a Future Shock DDT. Then Drew suplexes the ladder on top of AJ Styles, which AJ was clearly trying to move, but it still landed on him anyway, which obviously he was not prepared for. Styles puts Drew's leg in the ladder and then looks at the calf crusher, which looks brutal.
That looked awesome. That was probably my favourite spot of the match. So simple, but so fucking brutal.
Yeah, then after that, he puts the calf crusher on with a chair. And it's just like, what a way to like utilize like almost all of the weapons. Like, see if he put like Drew's leg through like one of the bars of like a table and then done it again. Like, that would have just been like the pure icing on the cake. Literally using all 3 weapons to put on the calf crusher. That I noted, you can't deny the strategy here of AJ. But then Drew breaks the hold of the calf crusher with the chair by smashing AJ's head off the ladder, which again looks horrendous. There was a belly-to-belly suplex onto a ladder that was set up in the corner. Styles fights back quickly, hits a phenomenal forearm, and then almost passes the ladder into AJ. AJ climbs, but Drew grabs Styles and then presses him out of the ring through a table, but that did not cushion his fall whatsoever. He just kind of splattered on the floor. as Drew goes up the ladder, the Miz runs down, and Morrison cashes in the Miz's briefcase. Key for later. But as the Miz starts to climb up the ladder, almost just cradles him like a fucking baby, and is just like, come here, and just drops him outside of the ring through a table. Then Morrison comes in with a chair, smashes it off the back almost, and the chair just explodes.
Yeah.
And then it almost turns around like, fucking serious, bro. Chases off Morrison, so that takes Morrison and almost out of the match. Drew and AJ are up the ladder. AJ keeps Drew at bay with another shot to the knee. Then Miz comes back. All three are fighting back and forth. And also close to getting the belt. They just take turns, just rotating one at a time. One of them goes for a belt. Somebody gets up, knocks the other one off. They go for the belt. The third person comes in, knocks the other one off. Then the original first person comes back in, knocks the other one off. And it just continued going in this vicious circle. I'm not going to lie. The second that Miz cashed in, I wanted Miz to win. I didn't care. I wanted Miz to win at that point. Yes,
I thought you would have. I'm not going to lie, right? This is the weirdest feeling I've ever had, where I was like, if Drew isn't retaining, then I want it to be Miz, purely because at least it's a bit of a screw job.
Yeah.
For Drew losing the belt.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's AJ, then AJ's won the match fair and square. But as everyone knows, fucking, I love me some Drew. And I saw, it is that I love me some Drew, but also fucking, I'm just so fucking proud of him because I've seen, obviously, pretty much his rise, not just through WWE, his rise through wrestling, we pretty much watched in person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm delighted for him to be champion. I want to be champion forever, as far as I'm concerned. But when he does lose it, when he does lose it, if he happened to lose it to Miz in this match, I wouldn't have been upset about it because it still books him in a strong position to keep going forward, rather than book him as a loser.
Take a fall for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would not have been against Miz winning this match, and I actually thought he was going to.
Yeah, because Drew gets taken down, and as Miz and AJ fight in the ladder, Drew knocks the ladder off. Knocks the ladder over that has both Miz and AJ on it. AJ takes this horrendous looking bump to the, kind of over the ropes, to the apron, to the floor. And then Miz, who kind of didn't really land as bad, was still stumbling around. Bang, Claymore, Miz is out. Drew pulls down the belt. Drew retains. But what a hell of a fucking opener, man.
Yep, it was a very good match. I'm actually not a huge fan of TLC matches, which is bizarre. Which is bizarre, given the fact that my favourite type of match is a ladder match. But I like just a ladder match. Do you know what I mean? Like adding in everything else, it seems a bit overkill at times. But this was a really, really good match, and a match that was absolutely worthy of being the main event. Should it have been the main event, which it wasn't, and that's not a dig at what the main event actually was, because the main event is fucking great, but we'll obviously get there once we get to the main event. But now it's looking like they're probably going to maybe go down potentially the triple threat route between.
Well, why don't we have a quick conversation about what actually happened on Raw? Because during Miz TV, AJ and Almost were out and almost brought up the fact that you didn't even cash in your Money in the Bank. Morrison did. And then Miz just stood there, with this perplexed look on his face, holy shit, he's right. I didn't cash in Money in the Bank. Morrison did. So do you think that stemming from this, that Miz may be given back the briefcase because for a technicality?
I don't think he will be. I think he'll just be put into whatever match they have at the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I don't think he will be given the briefcase back. mainly because if they give him the briefcase back, right, that's fair play. But we've already seen all the rumours of what Drew's match at Mania is going to be. It's going to be defending the title, and it's probably going to be against Keith Lee. So if you give him
Goldberg.
no, if you give him the briefcase back, it's just a bit pointless. It's like, say, okay, there's a debate as to whether or not you actually cashed in, but as far as we're concerned, it was announced he was cashing in. Therefore, it's a cash in. He competed in the rest of the match, therefore it's a cash in. But here's the happy middle. We'll put you in this triple threat match between Drew and AJ Styles at Royal Rumble.
Or maybe, secret option number 3, you automatically get the 30th spot in the Rumble. You still need to fight for it, but you're getting the best odds.
Yeah, you could maybe do that. I think the triple threat's more likely, but yeah, that definitely is an option.
I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the way I can see it going is I think the triple threat's going to happen. Morrison is going to do something to cost Miz the match, and they're probably going to build to Miz versus Morrison at Mania, which I'm absolutely behind happening.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Because it kind of wasn't great the first time.
Well, I don't really know if I want to fully go into this just now because I feel like there's going to be a lot of this conversation coming up on our next episode, the first annual Heelys.
Yes, the Heelys. Which we actually don't have any categories for yet, so that can be our discussion once we finish recording.
I'll work on it. It's just, so after this, we wanted to get, because, this is the one thing that I kind of hate is the fact that there are some other podcasts that start doing their awards before the end of, every pay-per-view. And now, see, to be honest, now that this pay-per-view is out the way, this pay-per-view maybe get talked about a lot because arguably this was one of the best pay-per-views in the entire year. In my opinion.
Yeah, it was definitely good. I've no doubt. Can't complain about that.
Was it the best? Maybe not, but
it's definitely top 5. Absolutely. Well, top 3 probably. Top 5 isn't really a compliment, but there's only 12 in the year. But anyway,
well, there's.
They're saying that. There's a bit more.
4 AEW pay-per-views, and we've watched at least.
Oh, sorry.
Impact?
Sorry. I'm just talking about WWE.
Okay, well, no, I'm talking about in general.
Right. In general, top 5, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely top 3 if you are just counting WWE, but then also I count takeovers as pay-per-views, so. And then.
Well, I count as pay-per-views too, but I don't count them as WWE pay-per-views, which is ridiculous given the fact it's a WWE show, but it's not the same, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It's not the same branding, it's not the same setup, it's not. Yeah. Takeovers don't count. If takeovers counted, they'd account for the top 4 WWE pay-per-views every year.
I mean, especially War Games. War Games is fucking awesome from fucking start to finish, almost.
War Games is awesome in general. Every War Games has been an absolute fucking killer pay-per-view, and I'm really surprised that they've not
well this year.
I'm really surprised that they've not fucking incorporated it into the main roster yet. I genuinely thought that was going to happen at some point.
No. Don't do that.
I know. I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But given how successful their 4 War Games pay-per-views have been, given how successful they've been, I thought that they were going to end up doing a War Games pay-per-view. But I'm so glad they don't. And they should just keep War Games at the Survivor Series weekend, and then it's a nice wee perfect match for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. And then War Games, because it's essentially, without the elimination aspect of it, it's kind of, you can argue it's the same concept. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's about survival.
Yeah.
One very, very quick side note. Me and Robert spoke about this on the last podcast, but I just want to get your thoughts of NXT India starting in January. Are you up for at least watching the first couple of episodes of the tournament to crown the champion?
Yes, but ideally, if would like English commentary if I'm watching it. But yeah,
I get the feeling
I think
they're
that
going to do English commentary.
yeah, because like if there's no English commentary, I think that's a bit of a roadblock for me, especially if I don't know anyone that's going to be on it.
Well, I can confirm that the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal are going to be your top 10.
Really?
And that's not even a lie. I've heard that Big Old Jindo is going to be a mainstay in NXT India.
To be fair, that's probably a good spot for him.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, anybody that's even listened to any of our old episodes knows for a fact that I absolutely loathe Jinder Mahal. But you know what? Him being like the face of NXT India, I can I may not like it, but I can appreciate it.
Even though he's not Indian, he's Canadian. But let's just ignore that bit.
Let's don't let facts get in the way of a good story, Chris. So yeah, I'll accept that, and like even because I mean like we started covering NXT UK when that came back, and the coverage of that kind of died a death because we all really struggled to watch it on time. So can't say that we'll be covering NXT India every week when it starts, but like at least maybe we'll give the tournament a go.
Do you know what my problem with NXT UK is? I keep fucking forgetting about it. I mean, I can watch it on a Friday afternoon or a Friday morning and work like whilst I'm doing bits and bobs, no problem.
Or a Thursday night at a reasonable time, but
I keep forgetting about it.
Exactly, same. I keep forgetting about it for weeks on end, and then I binge watch 3 episodes in a row.
Yeah,
that's kind of partly
a problem.
That's partly why I stopped doing the reviews, just because I'm always fucking behind. Like, I watched 3 episodes, and I was like, I'm finally caught up, and then realised it's Friday, and it's like, fuck, there was a new episode last night.
Yeah, I'm the total same. Like, it's do you know the thing is, though, the episodes I have watched since it came back have been good. It's nothing to do with not being good, it's just I keep forgetting it exists.
Like, actually, every episode since it came back has been really good wrestling.
It's not advertised anywhere.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? So I keep forgetting that it's a thing. And I need to try harder to not forget it's a thing, because it's not that I don't have time to watch it. It's not that at all. It's just I keep fucking forgetting to watch it.
Because it's been gone for so long, like, you kind of just got in your head, like, it wasn't there anymore. And then when it came back, like, kept track of it for a couple of weeks, and then yeah, it was just the same kind of thing with me of like I missed 1 episode, and then that 1 episode snowballed into 4 episodes, and then there was one day where I binge watched 4 episodes of it in one day, finally caught up, and then realized that there was a new episode out since those 4 episodes that I watched, and so I'm always just kind of behind. And then like I'm doing my usual weekly wrestling watching, and so I'm trying to find the time to get those other episodes in to catch back up, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah. No, I totally feel you, bro. Feel you, brah.
Feel you, brah.
Anyway, let's get back on with TLC.
Moving on to match number 2, Sasha Banks defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella.
That was the match that I went into, but I put it on at like 1 in the morning. Okay. I thought I was going on for the start of it, but no. I don't know why it started early, but
I feel like they've all been kind of starting early, around 12ish. These WWE pay-per-views.
I very rarely watch them live, so I'm still in the mindset of it's 1 a.m.
Yeah, of course. I know, I'm kind of like that as well. Like, I think like the last time, in fact, for Survivor Series, I think I came over, I thought it started at 1 a.m. and you're like, no, it starts at 12. And I'm like, wait, pre-show's at 11? And you're like, yep. And I'm like, okay then. Well, like, there's like an hour before like this starts then.
Yeah.
If you're gearing up for like a late night and it finishes like 3 and it's like, wow, what a treat.
I know. Getting to go to bed like a kind of reasonable time.
More reasonable than like, 4, sometimes 5 o'clock, depending on the pay-per-view. I remember that one time that I watched WrestleMania and I didn't get in bed till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or that one time I watched WrestleMania and it went so long and I was in Preston, that the first train back to Glasgow had came around, and I've just managed to get a fucking free train essentially back to Glasgow. I did buy a ticket, but that was for the train after. But swings and roundabouts, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right, so tell us about that match.
Let's. So there was this spot very early on where Sasha sends Carmella to the outside, and Reginald, I don't know what it is that she called him before. Like it's a nicer way of saying like butler or assistant, but he's got a name now. It's Reginald. So I will refer to him as such from now on. So Sasha sends Carmella out of the ring, and Reginald catches Carmella, but he was not in position. Like Carmella, very undershot, being thrown out of the ring, and he managed to almost save her life because she almost landed on her fucking head. Sasha dives out the ring, and Reginald helps Carmella hit an assisted Hurricanrana. Carmella then yanks Sasha's hair, and Banks takes a nasty drop on the apron. Sasha goes for the 3 Amigos and then hits a frog splash for 2. Carmella later on hits the X Factor. I don't know what she calls it, so it's going to be the X Factor because X-Pac. Carmella spikes Sasha Banks' forehead right into the mat with the X Factor. It gets a very close 2 count. She then continues to go for 2 more covers, which again gets 2 more 2 counts. Mella then goes for a Rosemary-esque sort of choke over the top rope where she wraps her legs around Sasha's throat. Mella hits a super kick on the outside and then gets a second super kick. Gets the cover. Sasha grabs the ropes, otherwise that would have been it for her. There was a Rana countered by Banks for 2. Mella gets her Code of Silence submission hold, but Sasha Banks... Jesus Christ, my sentences. Mella gets the Code of Silence submission.
Words!
Yeah. Banks
They're not for
out,
me.
Banks out, the Mella gets a double chicken wing. There, that actually makes sense. It just helps if I read properly. Which is hard when we've been talking for an hour and a half and we've been drinking. Banks breaks the double chicken wing with a pinfall attempt. Banks then attaches the Banks statement, but Reginald pulls Carmella out. Banks dives off the apron onto Reginald. Mella connects with 2 more super kicks and then puts Banks back in the ring for 2. Mella starts screaming at Banks and then sort of like slapping her and she was bawling at her. Attempts the X Factor again. Sasha Banks carries into the Banks statement. And finally, Carmella taps out.
Yeah, I thought this was actually quite a good match. I really enjoyed it.
Carmella has stepped the fuck up.
To be fair, I think she was always that good. I just think her Princess of Staten Island fucking gimmick kind of got in her way a wee bit.
I can't help but feel as if maybe she's worked a lot harder while she's been away, because she's been away for a long time at this point. So
yeah,
maybe she's just had a lot of extra wrestling training and is just she's definitely taking steps up compared to what she used to be. Also, the new gimmick I think really helps. The new theme music, even the new entrance,
the new entrance, and at the risk of sounding like an absolute pig, is one of the sexiest things I've ever seen in wrestling. That entrance is just see the silhouette when she's dancing and all that. It's like, Babby Daddy, take me home.
Plus, I mean, also hell, the new gear doesn't help with the sounding like a pig either. She looks absolutely amazing these days and really works this more. It just makes her feel so much more like a sort of higher class sort of person, and with that sort of gimmick. Then you get to this weird part where they cut to a replay, but the replay is Sasha Banks celebrating, but she's in the little replay box. So she's standing.
Oh, yeah! I did see that.
She's dancing there with her belt. It's like, here's a replay. And it's like, yeah, that's live, bro. That's live, pal.
We're live here, brother.
And then they finally cut to the replay, and they're like, this is what we were meant to show you. But then, like, also, like, the one little thing I didn't take a note of, but a little thing that I remembered was when, like, Carmella was making her way to the ring, and Corey Graves was absolutely gushing over her. And it's just like, we know, bro. We know.
Yeah. Yep. We know where that meat's buried.
Mm-hmm. Right,
actually, fair play to him.
I'm going to admit, these kind of Big E, Sami Zayn segments, I didn't really take a note of during the show because I didn't understand it. Because Sami Zayn kept running around saying that there was a video that Big E had of Sami Zayn or something like that, and I didn't get what was going on here. There was clearly something that I missed.
Yeah, it was an audio recording. It wasn't a video.
Oh, was it?
That was it. Charlie Caruso had shared on her Instagram, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But what I quite liked about this is it was Peyton Charlie. Was it Charlie Caruso? I'm sure it was.
Probably.
It was Peyton Charlie Caruso is this like journalist instead of just an interviewer. So she'd got this scoop of something Sami Zayn had said, and she was putting it out there to the world like she was a fucking reporter. Do you know what I mean? Which I actually quite liked. I think that's a really fucking cool sort of way for these backstage interviewers to like kind of be doing their role. Like they're looking for the story and then they're getting the story out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but counterpoint, I didn't know what the fuck was going on here. So maybe they should have had a thing where she played it to somebody and goes like, oh, hey, listen to this. Listen to what I caught Sami Zayn saying.
They
like,
did.
Just some... When?
They did.
When did they do that?
Right before that segment. If you watched it on a particular website, it might have been cut off. As what I was saying, it's happened to me a few times.
Okay.
But I watched it back on the network. They played the audio, and then from the audio, it's like from Charlie Caruso's Instagram account.
Right. So see that couple of seconds, I clearly missed for one rhyme or reason. Maybe I just wasn't. Maybe I went to the toilet or something and just left the pay-per-view running. I don't know, but I clearly missed that, and that was obviously the whole stem of this story is like completely.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known about it if they hadn't played that wee clip of what Sami Zayn had said.
Because I was thinking,
but basically the idea of it is he's blaming Big E for recording that and then giving it to Charlie Caruso. Mm-hmm. But that was definitely covered before it happened.
I thought they all just kind of assumed that everybody was like, oh, everybody heard it in Charlie Caruso's Instagram page. And it's like, you really think that everybody goes out their way to listen to that for their storylines?
Yeah. No, I definitely think the feed that you watched was probably edited and that was probably cut out that was there. But it definitely was when I watched it on the network. Right. 100%. They covered that before that happened.
Well, thank you for filling me in. So now this whole story makes a bit more sense. Do you remember what it was exactly that Sami Zed is what I said there?
Funnily enough, no, because I don't think he said anything that crazy. He was just basically saying that no one's better than him and all that. It was just basically like it was a promo that had been recorded where he's like, I'm the Intercontinental Champion, no one can beat me, I'm the best, blah 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 blah, just along that. It was nothing that bad. Do you know what I mean? It was nothing earth shattering. But
also is that t-shirt he has on now just saying I'm the Intercontinental Champion, is that an old reference to Pat Patterson?
Possibly.
I'm pretty sure he had an old t-shirt like that saying I'm the IC champion or something along those lines.
Very possibly.
If it is, then it's a good tribute.
Oh, absolutely. Fucking Pat Patterson just seems to be one of wrestling's good guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously those rumours about him, which I totally believe are complete rumours.
Yes. Because, like, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's always one of those things where, like, somebody dies and like there's a lot of people that always have nice things to say about dead people.
It's not that.
Then...
The rumours were about when he was alive, but I think the difference is, like, these rumours came around about an openly gay man at a time where it wasn't okay to be openly gay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair enough. I know, it's
like,
just...
So all it takes is, like, even in WWE right now, there's definitely fucking a lot of homophobia, right? There's at least one wrestler on Raw I can think of that this year has been homophobic on Twitter, but we won't get into it.
Yeah.
But you think back then, if someone had came out as gay, like, there's a very high possibility that enough of the boys would have taken offence to that, that there was a gay guy amongst the ranks to start spreading shite about him that just sticks.
Obviously, like, the thing was, like, when Pat Patterson officially came out was when they done that Legends House, where it's like they were all like...
But everybody knew before then.
I know.
Even fans knew before then.
Yeah, exactly. That was that kind of thing where it was like, he had that for heartfelt moment where he's like, oh, I'm gay and I've been gay for a long time, and everyone was kind of sitting there like, yeah, we know. Like, this isn't a surprise here, bro. Like...
Yeah, like, even fans knew. Like, it was the worst kept secret.
Yeah. But nevertheless, like, all of that stemmed from me saying I didn't really take note of these Sammy and Big E things, and kind of already kind of covered that when we talked about the pre-show match as like, so Sami Zayn in a later one, like, sort of, as you said, like, kind of was blaming Big E for this promo getting released, and that's what kind of led to the Intercontinental title match that's going to happen on SmackDown. And then Big E made some weird face that scared Sammy away.
He just went, this is going to be great radio, by the way, but I'm going to do an impression of it. Accurate, not accurate.
You know what? Let's do that just one more time when I get my camera loaded. And I'm going to put that on the... Right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Yeah, Big E is a stupid face and I hate him.
That wasn't where I was going with that. It was just me trying to put on my best angry face.
Well, yeah, but like he's still like, honestly, like, see, like on SmackDown when Sami Zayn was doing the Sammy Awards, and when it was like building to it, and Sammy was like, "Oh yeah, these awards are going to be great," and then he wanders off, and then Big E comes in, and he just starts going.
Actually, to be fair, I get that.
Like, it was like,
I get what you mean.
Can you just, like, you sound, you know, not going to say it, but you sound it. And it's like, maybe you came in and said something kind of witty, like, I guess Sami Zayn didn't take this guy into consideration for one of his awards, or it's just something stupid like that. But when he just walked in, just went, it's like, right, okay, I'm supposed to take you seriously now?
This big super Big E push is not really working out.
Nope.
And I saw an article today. He's the bookie's favourite to win the Royal Rumble, which blows my fucking mind.
Nope. And you know what? You can hear more about this on the the Christmas Cracker episode of the Turnbuckle Arms, where we spoke for nearly half an hour on the potential push of Big E and how everybody turned on me when I told them that I hated him. Which shall be released probably right now, actually. So if you check, any...
I do believe it's out, yes.
Any place that podcast be, the Christmas Cracker is going to be released. because I plug everything. Also, listen to Rise of the Robots. We're covering season 4 of Robot Wars. So, Asuka, she is backstage, and then Billie Kay, she comes up and she offers Asuka her headshot.
Sister of Cobra.
Headshot on the back resume. And also, I speak fluent in Japanese. So Asuka's like, oh, hell yeah. And then she rifles off like a whole bunch of stuff in Japanese. And then Billie Kay just goes, right you are, Asuka.
I won't lie, I didn't see this segment because nature called and I was pooing at the time. But I could hear it.
You could have just said nature called. You didn't need to specify.
I felt the need to.
You could have just said dropping the Griz off at the pool. Wait. Then Billie Kay. Then Billie Kay goes, I've also made my own mask. And then she pulls out a paper plate painted in gold with like Asuka's little face on it. And then Asuka goes, oh, you misunderstand. The position has been filled. And so Billie Kay, dejected, is not going to be. Although I think you probably should have picked Billie Kay if you ask me, but we'll move on from that. Match number 3, the Hurt Business take on the New Day for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This was quite a short match, actually. Cedric gets caught very early on by, I think it may have been like a sort of swift kick by Kofi. At the time it happened, I was taking notes. Then he gets zero offense in as the New Day just start beating Cedric down. He finally gets a tag into Shelton. And then at ringside, MVP starts giving Cedric water, which was odd. And I thought like maybe like the water bottle or something was going to come into play later on, and maybe in the advantage of the. Oh my God, I was about to say beatdown clan. The Hurt Business. There was an SOS that gets a.
Oh, that's racist.
Shut up. MVP was in both of them, so that's not racist. There's SOS that gets.
Was the beatdown clan not predominantly African American as well?
They were all African American until they hired Hernandez, who was.
I couldn't say for certain because I wasn't watching TNA at the time, but yeah, that was my. Well, that's racist joke, but anyway.
No, wait, hold on. It started off with Kenny King, Bobby Lashley, and MVP. But then Samoa Joe and Low Ki joined the ranks, and then kind of Bobby Lashley petered off. So originally it started off predominantly African American, and then kind of.
Right, okay, let me rephrase that, right? I was saying predominantly African American to be correct about it. There was nobody white in it, was there?
Hernandez was the closest, and even then, he was of Mexican descent at the very least.
Latino descent.
Latino descent, thank you. Jesus.
Anyway, let's move on for this very swiftly.
Kofi then goes for a Trouble in Paradise, but Cedric sidesteps. Cedric tries the lumbar check, but gets no dice. Cedric then gets a brainbuster as Shelton hits Pay Dirt and Xavier. That only gets 2. Shelton gets a superplex off the top rope onto Kofi, and then sets up a Pay Dirt. But just as Shelton is about to go for it, Cedric tags himself in. Then he hits the lumbar check, and then it's over. The Hurt Business are the tag team champions. But Shelton, while he's won, and I did take a note of this, his first tag team championship in 17 years. He was admittedly a bit perplexed about the fact that Cedric kind of essentially stole Shelton's win. But obviously Shelton is kind of going through this whole kind of dilemma right now where it's like, I need to win this. I need to win this for me. I don't know, so what do you kind of think about this finish. Obviously, like, I'm chuffed that the Hurt Business are the tag team champions, but what do you feel in this kind of way that, like, it was almost like a kind of screwy finish where, like, the kind of spotlight was taken away from Shelton and kind of put on Cedric, and then this whole kind of, like, mindset of him?
It's going to, for me, it's going to be, like, played out going forward that there's a little bit of tension between them as tag team champions. For me, I think that's the way to do it, because Shelton never trusted Cedric from, like, day one, really. So the fact that then Cedric has now done that to him kind of continues on that story. I think it's going to be a story that plays out really slowly over the course of the next, I don't know, 3 months, maybe building into Mania. Don't think they'll pull the trigger at Mania, but they might pull the breakup at Mania. What was a really cool thing, though, I don't know if you've seen it, Griz, but I saw on Twitter that Shelton Benjamin's first protocol at once he won those tag titles was to get ready, leave the arena, and go over to Shad Gaspard's family's house.
Oh, really?
To take pictures with his son. And I'm like, that's quite a fucking nice thing.
Yeah, well, your boy just wanted to celebrate.
Yeah, but they were obviously close. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
of course.
It's
They were around on the roster at the same time, so of course.
Yeah, so he went to celebrate his win with Shad's family, because obviously they couldn't be at the show, which is it's a nice wee touch.
Yeah, that is actually. I didn't actually know that, so.
Yeah, so I saw the pictures on Twitter. Pretty cool.
That's quite sweet though. Like, I mean, like the more that you kind of talk about Shad, like, obviously, like, that really is quite of a difficult subject. So it's like it's good that, like, you know, Shelton's still there and still willing to kind of do stuff like that for the kid.
Yeah, and probably not the time to have the discussion when we've got the biggest award ceremony of the year coming up soon, the Heelys.
Of course.
But I would really like to see WWE put Shad in the Hall of Fame in some way, shape or form this year, even if it's just the Warrior Award. Just to be recognised in some way. Like, that would be very nice of them to do.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I don't think that you could think of anybody else that deserves being an absolute warrior than Shad Gaspard.
See, be honest with you, see if they decided to put Crime Time in the Hall of Fame, I don't think I'd have a problem with it, because I never watched wrestling when Crime Time was a thing, right? I'd fallen away from it at that point, but I've seen so many really fucking funny segments with them that I really shouldn't have seen. Do you know what I mean? Because
they were the greatest tag team to never win the tag team titles. And I know that there's some, and I mean, like, the Rockers are in that conversation, and I would say now Crime Time were always better than the Rockers.
I mean, one of my favourite segments of all time is the one where DX are trying to get the scalp tickets to get the show. I think it's Manchester. And they go out and Crime Time are there with the tickets, and Sean's like, it's alright, I speak hood. Like, and one of my pals was actually at that taping, and he said that they did that live at the taping, and fucking Sean lost his cool and burst out laughing, and they had to so it went from Sean just pure lost his shit whilst he was trying to do it. They went into the next match, then they obviously taped it again and put it over, but he's like, Sean fucking started and then just fucking broke.
See, well, like, obviously you need to have JTG come out to accept the award, but you should also have DX come out and, like, say some kind words, and then maybe show that and be like, here's a blooper from one of the times where we worked with Shad and Crime Time, and then show the blooper where Sean loses his shit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, the two of them were fucking awesome. They were hilarious, and it genuinely breaks my heart. And then obviously you were at the same Discovery show that I was at, where Crime Time were there, and what a fucking laugh they were that night as well. Like, that was just after JTG got released, because Shad got released a little bit before. But
a little bit before JTG got released, about 2 years after.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a little bit.
Because he obviously knew where the fucking bodies were buried. Do you know there was actually a website for is GTG still employed by WWE?
Yes.
.com?
Yes. No.
It's like, I want to know who set that up, because it was obviously based off the Maggie Thatcher website. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It was like, is Maggie Thatcher dead.com? And it was just going to be like, no, yes.
Well, there's a Twitter now that's called, "Is Chris Jericho still fat?" It's just like, yes.
Jericho's not fat. He's fucking 50 years old.
That's what I always say. It's like, you're not going to be able to keep, like, I mean, okay, well,
unless you're Dave Bautista or fucking
Sting.
Jericho was never a fucking bodybuilder, so he's going to get dad bod. Do you know what I mean? I cannot remember any stage where Jericho was toned,
Especially
properly
if he's drinking
toned.
this much bubbly.
Oh yeah, and don't forget as well, like, he's a fucking smoker and all that too.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, he's a smoker, so fucking, of course his body's not going to be pure fucking tight as fuck. And he's also 50.
Mm-hmm.
And also spending 6 months of the year, granted not this year, 6 months of the year fucking touring with a rock and roll band. What do you think he's doing? Fucking milkshakes?
You know.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
He's going to be out drinking with his bros.
exactly.
My main man, Rich Ward.
I would fucking love to have the lifestyle Chris Jericho probably has and look as good as he does.
Yeah, agreed.
I have a very similar lifestyle to Chris Jericho. Not necessarily that I'm fucking touring the world or anything, but I'm definitely drinking as much.
Probably more.
Probably more, but I don't think it's a great deal of difference given how much he talks about alcohol. And look at the Nicky Me.
And less of the exercise.
Yeah. Yeah, at least he's running about a stage and running about a ring and all that, man. Like, I'm just sitting there going like that. Oh, Chris Jericho's fat. Fuck off.
It's fat!
Nah, fuck off, man. Chris Jericho's the GOAT, and I will fight anyone that wants to argue that with me.
I fully agree. It's just, see the people that are still blaming specifically Chris Jericho for that COVID outbreak at that festival that he was booked to play. And now all of a sudden everybody that gets COVID at that thing is all of a sudden Chris Jericho's fault. And it's like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to decide that.
Fucking Jericho wasn't even the fucking wasn't even the headliner of that. I think it was Bowling for Soup.
No, it was Smash Mouth.
It was along those lines. Yeah, Smash Mouth that were the headlines. But nah,
That's
man,
a bit disrespectfully Bowling for Soup, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I apologise.
You got them mixed up. They made a song about Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I know. No, but you're totally right though. It's bullshit that fucking Jericho got all that grief for it, and it's like, well, no one forced anyone to go to that gig.
Exactly. Like that would be the same way if like anybody went to the AEW events that they're holding where people could buy tickets and go, and then somebody came out with COVID. It's like, well, to be honest, you chose to go. You took that risk.
Like, yeah, like, because the thing is, though, right, see if you think about that show, I totally get why people are saying, oh, it was irresponsible. It absolutely was irresponsible, 100%, because there was zero social distancing. It was a mass gathering with people. I totally get that. But what people don't understand is that was probably booked a year in advance. Mm-hmm. Like, they've already signed up to do that. if the
They
organisers
need
of
to
that
make
event,
contractual obligations. Otherwise, they're breaking contracts and they can get sued.
yeah, if the organisers don't make the proper fucking steps to, hiya pal, don't make the proper steps to fucking protect the people that are going to those shows, that's not the band's fault, it's the organisers' fault.
Yeah. The band's done their part by performing. That was it.
Yeah.
And then, like, I mean, so, like, but, like, also that's the thing is, like, because arguably Chris Jericho is probably the biggest celebrity they had there that night, other than, well, sorry, not other than, bigger than Smash Mouth, because, you know, Jericho is on TV every fucking week, whereas Smash Mouth are like, oh, well,
We're in one movie once.
Yeah.
Rat Race, what a fucking film.
Oh, well, and then they provided that song to Shrek, and then that's when they became big again.
It was the exact same song that they did on Rat Race.
Yeah, exactly. Like Smash Mouth only have one song.
Oh yeah.
Like they have other songs, but it's like Alien Ant Farm. Like they have like about 3 albums of songs, but you know the song Movies and then the cover of Smooth Criminal they do, and then that's all they're there for.
Are you noticing how many times fucking the wee man's tried to fucking jab me?
He's booping you in the nose. Boop.
Yeah, he's got his claws out. I can see his claws are out. He's trying to boot me in the nose.
Anyway, like Jericho, I feel that he will come up in the Heelys next week.
Oh yeah.
Or next show. I'm not going to promise it's next week.
Yeah, it won't be next week. It's Christmas time, mistletoe and wine.
We'll let the bells end.
Hey, whoa.
Mr. Beatty.
Can your tits, pal? Jesus
Maybe
Christ.
he was just really excited about the next match, which was Nia Jax.
No, do you know what happened?
Go on.
I kicked my chest of drawers under my desk and he heard the noise and he thought the noise came from outside. So he's like, what's going on out there?
Maybe he was excited about the next match, though, because Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler took on Asuka and a mystery partner for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Right, so going into this, did you know or did you have an idea of who was Asuka's partner? Or did you have... Who would your ideal partner have been?
See, genuinely, I had no idea. And the reason I had no idea was because I didn't care, because I really just put this match as a fucking write-off. And we'll get as to why the match was a write-off in a minute, but I just didn't care. I didn't give it a second thought who it was going to be.
Well,
if I had to say someone that I thought that crossed my mind it might have been was Rhea Ripley. But
really? Okay, interesting.
Because I think she's got to be done in NXT now, surely.
Don't call me Shirley. So I was like, okay, bring up Io, and then Asuka and Io win the belts, and then you have your first ever Raw and NXT Women's Champions holding the tag belts together. So you have like a multi-branded tag team.
Okay, right. I would have been fine with that.
If when they lost the belts, Io just went back to strictly being in NXT, that's one thing. And then also, like, it's not this whole let's just put the hot Asian chicks together. But I mean, there was a lot of history between Kairi and Io, and so I'm sure like Asuka obviously knows Io quite well as well. Like, in fact, like, you know what, like, Asuka was in a tag team with Io's sister for years, Mio Shirai, and so she has wrestled Io on multiple occasions. So, not saying that they didn't know each other. It's just, oh look, there's two Japanese chicks, slap them together. Like there's history there.
Well, see, the thing is though, like, I get what you're saying about fair go calm it down to a riot, pal, eh? I get what you're saying about this history there, but I think the vast majority of WWE fans probably don't know that history exists. Do you know what I mean? Well,
all it takes is like for them on commentary to be like, Oh man, these two actually have a lot of history. They've wrestled in Japan against each other and in tag teams and all that for several years, and so they actually know each other quite well. Like, who would know each other better than these two? And then they could even say like Asuka's former tag team partner Kairi Sane also has a lot of history with these two, and so it's a perfect connection. But instead, it was Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's back.
Yeah. And that's not even what I'm most pissed off about for this. But Griz, fill about 10 seconds of time because I'm going to put him in the living room because he's being bitey and scratchy and swingy at me and he's going to end up getting me at some point. Don't give me don't lick me, kidding on, you're my pal. You're no my pal. Back in a second.
So, Charlotte returned looking different again. Because let's just say some of her upper pectoral region is definitely smaller than it was before. So this whole kind of match obviously came about because it was built up as Asuka and Lana going to challenge for the tag titles, and then on the Raw just before, Nia and Shayna Baszler took out Lana to the part where she can't wrestle anymore, which is kind of a bit rotten in the way that
I'm calling it right now. Lana wins the Royal Rumble.
by doing nothing.
Yes. There has to be a payoff to this. Lana wins the Royal Rumble. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, and then right, okay, we'll get through this match, and then I'm going to bring up the point that I already hate about these two being partners.
I really hope it's the same point as me.
Okay, so Charlotte gets a tag off Asuka and comes in quickly with a clothesline and a big boot to Nia on the apron. She tries to go for the figure four quickly on Shayna, but she fights it off. Asuka back in, is taken down by Shayna with like a fucked up looking like wrist lock thing, like just bending and contorting like her wrist, and then like even to the point where like Asuka is like screaming in a way that I've never seen like Asuka scream before, which was really weird. And then there's this part where they cut backstage and Ric Flair is shown watching the match, and then Tom Phillips is like, what a moment for Ric Flair to watch his daughter wrestle live. And it's like, has he been there for practically every one of the 12 championships that Charlotte's won? So really, do you think he really even cares that much at this point? Flair then hits a moonsault onto both tag champs on the outside. Nia fights out of a figure four leg lock attempt. Jax hits the Samoan drop on Flair, and Asuka flies in on the blind tag with the momentum. Great, another one of these weird sentences that I've wrote. It doesn't make any. I think it makes sense if I read it all properly, but I'm trying so hard to like. Asuka flies in on the blind tag. The momentum brings in Shayna. Right. So Asuka comes in like with off the blind tag, and then she hits like I think it's a drop kick. The momentum sends Nia into the corner. Shayna then tags in, and she tries to lock on the curve foot clutch on Asuka, but Flair then tags in because Asuka backs up into her corner. Flair takes out Nia, then locks in the figure four, tries to go for the bridge to the figure eight, but Nia breaks it. Shayna looks in the clutch again, but Flair flips out of it, kind of gets a 1-2 attempt out of it. Then Flair manages to hit natural selection on Shayna Baszler, and it's over, and Asuka is a double champion.
And I fucking hate it.
Then, just to very quickly go on to Raw, they come out, and literally the first thing that Charlotte says is, so how about that Raw Women's Championship? It's like, oh my god, can you like just like give this tag team thing like 1 fucking second?
You know something? But my issue with it isn't even to do with Charlotte. That's how I said me and you wouldn't agree. It's to do with Asuka.
Okay, I'm going to put this on mute for a second. I'm probably going to shout a lot of curses at you while on mute.
Hear me out about it, right?
Okay,
Hear me
I'll
out.
hear you. I probably will shout, as I said, I'm probably going to curse you out a lot while I'm on mute, but...
So, the WWE tag team, women's tag team titles, right, is in theory a great concept, right? But see, when you continue to make your Raw or SmackDown Women's Champion a double champion, it kind of completely defeats the purpose of them. These belts should be used to fucking elevate the other women on the roster. Like, okay, fair enough, you can maybe have one that's the standout in the team, but these should be used to get these women on pay-per-views, to get these women, like, in the fucking spotlight. They've already done the double champion once this year. There is absolutely no fucking need to do it again.
Twice this year.
It's twice?
Twice at the same time. Bayley and Sasha were both Raw and women's champions and tag team champions. They've technically done it twice at the same time.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you're totally right. Regardless, it's already been done this year. There is no need to keep doing that, because all that does is show how thin the women's division actually is, where they feel the need to put the champions with the tag belts as well. That shouldn't be, the tag belt should be used to elevate people into singles runs towards fucking winning the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship, not to just make double champions all the time. That's my issue with it.
Shock horror. Completely agree. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. All that I'm saying is why I like this is because this adds another notch on technically the greatest women's wrestler in WWE, and that's not a favoritism thing. That's an actual fact, because Asuka has now won the Raw, SmackDown, the tag team titles multiple times. She's also won the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank. And then now she is like also a tag team champion while being a women's champion, which kind of keeps her above Bayley in that whole sort of ranking thing. If you keep track of that, and I only keep track of that because it's Asuka and she's the best. Pretty much at this point, all Charlotte needs to do to be on level with Asuka is to then win the Raw or SmackDown Women's title while being tag team champions, and then win Women's Money in the Bank. I completely agree with you. I think the double champion thing is completely pointless. And yes, I feel like the tag team titles should have, and probably were originally brought around.
They should basically serve as a mid-card title for the women's division.
Exactly. Yeah. What's the point in giving the women's tag team titles to someone who already has a championship? Because every time they give like look at when Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman won the tag team titles when Seth Rollins was WWE champion. That was just a stupid ass storyline because they were tag team champions and then they were going to wrestle for the belt like later that night. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No, makes no sense.
No,
whatsoever.
I completely agree with you. Like the tag team titles and the women's titles, Raw and SmackDown, should not interact with each other. And it's just kind of one of these things where it's like, yeah, you're right. It shows how, I mean, really it shows how little amount of stars they actually have.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, but when you look at the fact they broke up the Iconics, they're breaking up a legitimate female tag team to put the belt on two makeshift teams in the last year.
And I mean, even like...
And it's like, I know obviously Alexa and Nikki had them, and then it went to Bayley and Sasha, which to be fair, Bayley and Sasha were actually a team. But it's then went from an actual team to a thrown together makeshift team to a thrown together makeshift team. And it totally ruins it.
But even like, I mean, I know that Nia and Shayna are a makeshift tag team, but even then, they're actually doing all right, and they're starting to become more of a tag team.
Work. Yeah, they totally work together because they're polar opposites of each other, which
Yeah.
is what's good.
And then they keep doing that whole thing of like, I'm the captain, no, I'm the captain, no, I'm the captain.
Which
that
is
works.
fine. Which is fine, but then have them drop the belts to an established women's tag team, like
which
that.
Which there aren't any.
That have yeah, exactly, because they've booked it so fucking horrendously that there aren't any established women's tag teams anymore. I would even have kept fucking Lana and Natalia together, just to have some established teams there. And by established, they were only together for about fucking 4 months, but at least they were an actual tag team.
Or even
Fuck it. Even Dana Brooke and fucking Mandy, yeah. At least, okay, they're not established, but at least they're actually a fucking recognised tag team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Their gimmick is they're a team together now.
Yeah, like at least they're a recognised tag team. That's just throwing the belts between insert 2 female wrestlers here that could kind of work. Like, I understand that this is probably going to lead to Asuka versus Charlotte at Royal Rumble, which I then think is going to lead to Charlotte winning the belt, which is then going to lead to Rhea winning the Royal Rumble, which is then going to lead to every match for last year. That's the way I see this going.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but there is no need to basically take the women's tag team titles completely out of the equation for the next month, 6 weeks, in order to achieve that. They didn't need to do that.
Because
Charlotte Flair can walk out. Charlotte Flair can walk out, ask for a match for the Raw Women's title. She'd get it, and people wouldn't really complain about it.
Well, people would complain about it.
But yeah, I know. But you know what I mean. It'd be like it's justifiable, given what she's done before. There is no need to basically fucking make these fucking tag titles a prop yet again.
They brought in the women's tag team titles with the what's the kind of words I'm looking for here? Like, they brought them in with a great idea involved, but then they've went about it the whole wrong way by breaking up any established women's tag team, and then they just continue to throw them on makeshift people. Like,
it's because they continue to push that these women's tag teams are just like typical women. They're bitchy as fuck and will turn each other at the first opportunity. And that's what they keep booking it like that. And it's like, honestly, I don't see if they wanted to put Alexa Bliss with Bray Wyatt. Cool, do it. But turn Nikki as well. Give them both of them and let them still continue as a tag team. Just a different tag team.
Yeah.
Like, because they're established former champions. There has to be established tag teams in a division to make a belt worth anything.
Right. Well,
what happens if the Hart Foundation won the tag titles, then they broke them up like 3 months after they lost them. The Hardys won them, then they broke them up. Fucking the Dudleys won them, Edge and Christian won them, and they just kept breaking up tag teams before they had any real run with being in a tag division. It's not going to get anywhere, and that's the problem.
Then Matt Hardy and fucking Bubba Ray Dudley won the tag titles, and then they defended them against Devon and Jeff Hardy, and then fucking Christian and Chris Jericho wrestled for them, and then, you know, like, it makes no sense.
I actually believe they did at one point.
Probably
Christian and Chris Jericho, because they had a...
Yeah, they were vitamin C.
But anyway... Yeah, but anyway, that's the thing. Like, the reason tag team wrestling was so successful in that era, and even in this era, is because you've got tag teams that lose the belts and they're still a tag team. It's not a case of lose the belts and they split.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, Nia and fucking Shayna are splitting once this wee rematch that's going to happens and they lose. Do you know what I mean?
Probably, yeah.
And it's like, that's not how you build a fucking tag division. You have to have these people that are in these tag teams, and they're in these tag teams for the long haul, not just once it's done. All right, okay, that's you had a run with the women's tag team titles, we're now going to split you up. I would like to know if there's any former women's tag team champions that are still together.
There aren't.
Exactly, that's the problem.
Yeah, and then they split up the one tag team that, you know, were hella entertaining and former tag team champions, the Iconics. And then
exactly,
right,
that's the issue.
So what are they doing now? Billie Kay's doing hilarious stuff on SmackDown with the here's my headshot on the back resume, and then they just had Peyton Royce just tag with Lacey Evans for absolutely no fucking reason whatsoever. There was no here's why we should be a tag team. There was just, oh, Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce are here together.
But I think, to be fair though, I think so obviously that was on Raw this week for those that haven't seen it. I think that was to push Peyton as a singles wrestler though, because see, after they did their interview before the entrances, and then Lacey went out, and Peyton was like, by the way, that was me that got us this match. I'm the one that asked for it.
Yeah.
Like, I can actually see what they're doing with that. Granted, it's only planting seeds just now, but I can see where they're going with it, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. But when you're throwing great tag teams
still
together,
done that
like
with the Iconics and just been like, Peyton Royce has been very distant from the tag team of these past couple of months or whatever. Yeah.
Instead of like, although breaking them up amicably, I actually kind of liked. To be fair,
I like that they done it amicably. Yes, I agree, but at the same time,
it leaves plenty of scope for them to do it again down the line. Do you know what I mean? But no, for me, a double women's and tag champion. I'm just, no. They've done it far too often, and for me, it completely ruins the point of those belts. Yeah. Those belts, given the fact there's not a mid-card women's title that should be treated as a mid-card women's title, which gives you the opportunity to showcase 4 people at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That's what it should be. And continually putting it on whoever the women's champion is completely ruins that.
Yeah. No, completely agree. Like, obviously, I'm kind of, it's not really a gimmick, obviously, but like I'm obviously more kind of like, this girl, she's a double champ. It's like, right, okay, yeah. So when you take that away and then be like, yay, Asuka's a double champ, it's like, yeah, good for her. She's my favorite. Go fucking figure. But then, like, yeah, obviously, let's take a step away from that and be like, yes, well, I will completely agree with you. Like, it makes no sense. Like, Bayley and Sasha worked because
there was a long running storyline on that, right?
Also,
and that's why it worked.
Champions as well.
There is probably going to be a long running storyline on Asuka and Charlotte as well, because it's probably going to lead to a match between the two of them, which is fine, but not when you've just done that a few months ago.
Mm-hmm. But this is clearly this is what you're saying when you say this is a makeshift tag team, and then like kind of what I was saying was the second that the two of them were in the ring on Raw, Charlotte's like, so that Raw Women's title was like, fucking shut up.
Yeah, there's no longevity. That we know where it's going now, because there's no longevity to it. Like, you knew that the Bayley and Sasha thing was going to eventually lead to a feud between the two of them, right? You knew that's where it was going to go, but you could see that by just watching the story unfold rather than it just being basically fucking shoved in your face.
Yeah, then
which is what happened on Raw.
Unfolded after months and months and months of
which I'm totally fine. See, if they wanted to do a double champion for that reason in order to advance a story, fine, but don't do it every couple of months. Like, that's fucking once every few years sort of shit. Yeah. And they've now done it. They've done it, as you say, 3 times in a calendar year.
Yeah, and then the fact that like the two of them being tag champs worked, whereas like, why the fuck would Asuka want to team with Charlotte Flair when Charlotte Flair has been nothing but an absolute cow to her the entire time? She broke Asuka's streak a couple of years ago, and then before the triple threat main event at WrestleMania, she, as they said in storyline, was she leveraged to get that SmackDown Women's title match the week before WrestleMania where she won that belt.
I've just thought my theory about Rhea Ripley is all wrong.
Uh-oh.
They're going to do Charlotte versus Asuka at WrestleMania. Asuka's going to win to get it back on Charlotte.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then during Asuka's celebration, whoa, Becky's going to go back and be like, yeah, I never lost that. I gave it to you. I want it back.
Well, as long as she doesn't win at WrestleMania.
No, it won't be at WrestleMania. I actually don't have an issue with it, that being the case. I'm just more annoyed that my dream scenario of the Rhea Charlotte rematch probably isn't going to happen. But
just have Rhea against Asuka. Let's have something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, that would also be handy. Right, anyway, shall we move on before this vein in my forehead actually fucking pops?
Right, okay, well, right.
I'm glad, sorry, very quickly before we move on, I'm glad you agree with me, because I was like, you're not going to like what I have to say, but it's nothing against Asuka, it's just the booking of it I don't like.
Oh, yeah, totally. And yeah, exactly, as I say, I was doing the whole thing of, Asuka's my favourite, and she's a double champion, yeah, let me just be happy for that second, but then, like, yeah, well, everything that you said, I actually do agree with. And then the fact that you were like, they've already done it this year, and it's like, no, they've done it twice in a storyline. And all that stuff that you brought up of, like, when Sasha and Bayley were tag champs and they were both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions, like, that was leading to something. But the fact that, like, they won the belts on Sunday, and then already on Monday, Charlotte's like, so how about I challenge for that Raw Women's title? And it's like, wow, you couldn't even wait 5 fucking minutes, Jesus. So
not even 24 hours if you actually look at the times.
Yeah.
You say not even 5 minutes is like a joke, but
obviously.
it was literally in real life not even 24 hours.
Yeah, because he won this about 3/4 of the way through the pay-per-view, maybe? No, maybe about a third. And then literally they were like one of the first segments on Raw, and the first thing Charlotte said is, so Raw Women's title as a friend to a friend, and it's like, fuck off, like, can you not just like be happy with the belt that you have, because you've never held the tag titles before? Just be happy with that.
What I also didn't like about Raw was, see, when they were on commentary, I thought Charlotte came across so fake.
Oh yeah, and the two of them are just all of a sudden besties.
Aye, that was just so fucking... And I know it probably is fake because Charlotte's probably going to turn on Asuka, right? I get that. But it was... surely it should at least sound a little bit fucking...
genuine.
Realistic. Yeah, like, genuine, that's what I'm looking for to begin with, because then that gives you the fucking shock factor when she turns. But she just... oh, man, it just sounded so horrendously fake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Charlotte, I can see through you like the window that some cunt fucking broke in my front door earlier on today.
I don't think you mentioned that's what happened. Would you like to tell the story?
I alluded to it, but like some...
Did you hear that?
What?
I said to you, I was like, I don't think you mentioned that. Do you want to tell the story? And as I said it, a fucking siren went by.
So I've got this like glass panel on my front door, and some pricks just kind of wandered into my clothes and then smashed it earlier on today. That's the story. And then they ran away because they're a little fucking pussy bitch. So that's that. So the next match on the show was Drew McIntyre was out. He was cutting a promo, and then 2020 came out. Oh, and then he started giving some fierce words to Drew McIntyre, saying that he will never leave. And then Drew McIntyre hit him with the Claymore, and then AJ Styles hit him with a phenomenal forearm. John Cena gave the 5-knuckle shuffle. And then, but nothing could keep 2020 down until 2021 came in. He done the run in, and he took out 2020 with this massive powerbomb that went all the way up through the clouds. Bang! And 2021 wins this match. 2021 is the champion.
I see for the 2021 Heelys.
Mm-hmm.
Heel of the year is going to be 2021, or turn of the year is going to be heel 2021, because this ain't going away.
Yeah. Oh man, it's going to be very interesting to see our Heelys, because obviously we're not like we're going to put in the categories, and then we're not going to talk about them until we're on air, obviously. So it's going to be really interesting to see what everybody has.
I think it should be a debate episode instead of who we're giving it to. Like you have a pick, Rob has a pick, I've got a pick, and then that's it. It should be we have our picks, then we have to argue our case for those picks, and we have to come to a unanimous decision on each one. As in, 2 out of the 3 have to agree. That'll be like a 10-hour podcast.
Well, if we do it for the holidays, then we've got the time. Probably the only time that we have off and like properly. I like it. I like the idea. We'll look into it and see.
Make it happen.
We'll look into it, see what we can do, and I hate the fact that you says it may be a 10-hour podcast because it probably will be, because we're going to get so wound up and so passionate about some of these arguments that probably we may need to do it over 2 days.
Let's see how it pans out.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into the penultimate match of the evening as Roman Reigns takes on Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship in a TLC match.
Once again, as I've said for every match on this pay-per-view, very good. I actually genuinely at some points believed that KO might pull it off. Obviously it was not to be, but it was really well put together for a match that for me was a foregone conclusion at the start of the night that Roman was going to win.
Oh yeah.
They did enough to convince me that KO might win. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, what if KO does win? Then Roman just gets it back at the Rumble like they did to Drew.
I wouldn't have minded it.
I wouldn't have minded it either. Given the fact that he took out Jey Uso so early in the match, it'd be like, okay, right, Roman's not got his running buddy, so what if KO wins it here? And then I don't know how far away the other Uso, Jimmy, is from a comeback, but maybe it would have been a nice story if KO was to win it here by taking out Jey, and then Jimmy comes back during the rematch to then join up with Roman.
So I hear, and I don't know how legit this is, but I hear that he's not far at all away from returning.
I don't imagine it will be, because they're clearly building this into the faction. Do you know what I mean? So he can't be far away. Mm-hmm. He could even come back before he's 100% fit to come back, and just not wrestle.
Wrestle, yeah, he can probably do a couple of spots and stuff like that, and whatever his injury is, just kind of,
protect it.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe it's a leg injury. I might be wrong, but I believe it's a leg injury. So just have whoever Roman's feuding with punch him in the face to put him down.
Yeah, and then boom, back bump. You can keep that injured leg like right up in the air, and then that be it. Just having him there will be interesting.
You don't even need to have your leg up there, because you take a back bump, your legs aren't affected by it at all. It's your spine.
Yeah.
So your spine takes the brunt of it.
Yeah.
So
keep the leg in the air
so
you don't bash it off the ground unintentionally.
You can have him do things that doesn't involve having actual matches. Just take back bumps. Do you know what I mean?
So the match started with Roman Reigns making his entrance, and then all of a sudden Kevin Owens just battles out of nowhere, just starts beating down Roman Reigns. Ding, 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 the match starts. Takes out.
You could tell that was coming though, couldn't you?
Oh, this is perfect. This is one of the exact things that me and Robert talked about in the last podcast when it came to, people that hate each other in a hateful feud, and how we hate when we're in a big feud, but then as soon as the bell goes, we just go for a collar and elbow tie up right away, and how that's not how hatred works. If I hate somebody so much, I'm going to come and punch you in the face the first second that I can.
Yeah, I was meaning more the fact that Roman came out first.
Oh, okay, well, fair enough. But aye.
But you're also right in what you're saying. But my point there was that Roman coming out first is KO is going to jump him.
Yeah, but we did speak about that for probably longer than we should have on the last podcast, because we went for ages the other night. So Owens takes out Roman with a cannonball. Owens hits a second one on the outside, and as I said, this is the exact way that I want a blood feud to start, with people, coming in, throwing fucking punches and all that shit. There's a splash off the apron to Roman by Owens, and then Owens grabs a ladder. This is when Jey Uso runs in, like, very early. He uses a super kick from Owens. Jey then attempts a super kick on Owens, but Owens gets a chair up, smashing Jey's ankle. Then Owens traps Jey's ankle in the chair, stomps on it. Owens then gets hit with a drive-by by Roman. Then Roman starts using the steel stairs like 6 or 7 times on Kevin Owens. Roman then gets Owens back in the ring and just starts delivering chair shot after chair shot after chair shot after chair shot, like, to the back, then a bunch to the ribs, and then more to the back. And Roman then starts setting up 2 chairs. Owens tries to go for a powerbomb, but Roman counters with a backdrop, sending Owens back first into said steel chairs. At one point, Owens almost grabs the belt, but Jay's back stops Owens, causing a big hockey fight between the two of them until Roman Reigns comes in with a Superman punch. Reigns and Jay start setting up tables in the ring. This gives Owens the time to get up and hit a stunner on Reigns, then puts Jey Uso through the announcer's table, and then begins to bury him under all the debris. Starts throwing the wheelie chairs, or just anything else that you find on him. Owens is on the ladder and then is joined. Reigns rakes the eyes. Then Reigns hits a powerbomb and a ladder that's set up on the ropes. And then as he does this, right, okay, I'm going to say this line one more time before I say what Cole says. So Reigns hits a powerbomb on a ladder. Okay? You got that?
Mm-hmm.
As Reigns does this, Michael Cole screams, "Spinebuster through the table."
I missed that. That actually happened.
Then they run a replay, and he says "powerbomb through the table" as they show a replay of a powerbomb on the ladder. So he managed to get the move right the second time, but not
the foreign object.
Yeah.
Typical Yank.
Oh yeah,
Can't accept anything foreign.
Believe me, Mafu is going to have a field day with that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing that.
But it's just the way that it's like, right, powerbomb onto a ladder, spinebuster through the table, and it's like, what?
Neither of those sentences were right.
Yep. Neither the move nor the weapon were correct. And then, as I say, during the replay, he then changes to the powerbomb, which was correct, and then he again says through the table, which still wasn't correct because it was on a ladder. And then even Corey Graves the whole time is like, "Oh, on the ladder." And then like the third time that they kind of show it, like he eventually changes to go, "Oh, on the ladder." That's twice he's went on the ladder, and it's like, yeah, finally you got the memo there.
I totally missed that.
It's one of these annoying things that I catch. I catch this.
It's not an annoying thing that you catch. Like, it would be if I was enthralled in watching that match, would give it my entire attention, I'd have seen it. But I was probably updating a spreadsheet at that point. Yeah. So I could tell you what cell I could tell you what cell I was on. It was BB-16 at the time. But
oh, the robot from Star Wars.
That's BB-8. I wish I'd said BB-8 actually. That'd have been funnier. I reckon I probably got BB from BB-8, but you know. Oh, and I'm not going to go into great detail on this because I know you don't care, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone else. But I went onto Twitter the other morning whilst I was hungover and got the end of this season of The Mandalorian completely fucking spoiled for me, and it's amazing. I've not seen any of it because I was waiting for it to finish so I could watch it, basically binge watch it, and I got the fucking finale spoiled for me, and I'm now the most angry Star Wars fan in the world. And if anyone has watched... No.
Oh, God damn it.
No. Baby Yoda gets taken away for training as a Jedi. Let's just say that. But, I'll tell you off air if you want to know, so you understand how fucking gutted I was, since I know you don't care about Star Wars. But I'm not going to say it on air, because I'm not going to ruin it for anyone else that was doing the same thing as me. But basically, I'm going to fucking bother my ass watching this season, because the finish was too big, and I got it spoiled.
Even I haven't had the end of the Mandalorian spoiled, and I've seen many people going, "Oh my god, the ending of Mandalorian! Oh my god!" And I'm like, Does Sasha Banks do anything in it? Like,
I got it spoiled by the actor.
Oh,
basically saying on Twitter, he's like, I'm amazed we were able to keep this secret for a year. Loose lips, hashtag loose lips sink ships. And I'm like, I
don't know, at least like maybe hold it off for a couple of days.
To be fair, it's my own fault. It's my own fault. I didn't watch it as it was airing,
yeah,
so that's my fault.
But in this sort of culture that we have of things getting put up in full, like entire seasons getting put up in full on Netflix and stuff like that, I don't think that's exactly fair. I feel like that's one of these kind of things where, like, if you're one of these few, like, I mean, just the kind of way that, like, you didn't see the, you know, the finale of, like, let's say Breaking Bad, just as another quite popular TV show that was on back in the day. Like, you didn't see the actor that played Walter White just be like, oh, well, you know what? I got shot multiple times at the end. LOL. Like, like a couple of days after that came out, because obviously this is kind of one of those things where a big TV show like this, you know, there might be people that don't know how this ends. And
see, I think the difference is when you're talking about like say Breaking Bad, that was how it finished, as in how the season finished. Therefore, at that point, it's done. Whereas The Mandalorian still has at least one more season to go. So it's a bit like they're kind of promoting that you have to see this season to get ready for next season, especially when how they ended it. Which, if you want to hear it, like I say, I'll tell you once we're off air. But I literally got up after I seen it, went into the kitchen, and Lee was in the kitchen, and I was like, I just had The Mandalorian spoiled for me, and now I'm the most miserable bastard in the fucking world. And that's totally
interesting. Anyway, so Rains drops on...
I know, this episode of Griz doesn't give a damn. Chris talks about Star Wars.
I think we've established at this point that I don't care about anything that's not wrestling, unless I bring it up, which is very few times.
We must discuss it.
Exactly. Because I don't watch other... I watch too much wrestling to be able to have time to watch other things. Wrestling, though, is the best. There's so much of it everywhere. But Reigns drops Owens on the point of the ladder. The ladder is lying on its side, and Reigns drops Owens right on that point at the top of the ladder. Icky, icky, icky. Reigns then sends Owens through a table at ringside with a Uranagi. No, Uranagi. You're welcome, Robert. Reigns then hits a Samoan drop through a table on Owens as well. Reigns then takes his time climbing the ladder. Owens just barely grabs the ankle of Reigns to the point where he has no energy left. Where Reigns is just like, okay, I see what's going on here. Then Reigns climbs down the ladder himself and then starts to deliver more punishment. Owens is out on his feet, but he delivers a bitch slap to Reigns, and then Reigns spears Owens through a table that was set up in the corner. Reigns
that table was set up for like a vast majority of the match, and I'm like, "God, someone please use that." Ow! There's that ow I said that was going to come.
There you go.
There it is.
Well, actually, see, funnily enough, you mentioned that there was a segment earlier on in the match where Owens was on one side of the table, Reigns starts climbing up the other, and there was a table conveniently right under Roman. And I was like, hold on a second. Is Owens going to knock Reigns through that table? And then it didn't happen. Like, it just sat there for a long time.
Yeah, like, see, that table set up in the corner was there for, I would say, 3/4 of the match.
Yeah, it was kind of like when...
to the point where it was bugging me, and I'm like, that's really getting in the way.
Because, like, this was during the time where, like, Jay and Roman came in, and they both started setting up tables, and then they were both kind of left there. So that one that Jay set up was kind of right under the ladder during that period. It was like, someone's going through that at some point, and then when Reigns was above it, it was like, Owens is knocking Reigns through that table at some point. And it didn't happen because, I mean, we'll see. So Reigns, like, this is outside the ring. Like, Owens gets put through two tables, and then Reigns goes for another spear on the outside. But Owens sidesteps, and Reigns goes through the barricade. Owens is now climbing up the ladder on his own, but Reigns gets back up and admittedly does not look that injured from that spot. Owens tries a pop-up powerbomb, but it's countered by a Superman punch. Reigns then rears back for a second Superman punch, but then Owens hits the powerbomb through said table, and then Owens climbs the ladder. He has the belt in hands, but Jay again comes up to stop. Owens jumps back down, hits the stunner on Jay. Once again, goes back up the ladder. Reigns is up, punches Owens square in the dick. Like, not even one of those kind of
possible low blows. It was a low blow.
Yeah, not even one of those wrestling style uppercuts. He just kind of goes boom, right through the ladder, right in Owens' dick, and then Reigns locks in the guillotine, and Owen fades. Reigns lets him go. His unconscious body hits the floor. Reigns pulls down the belt. But good God, was there so many times where Owens almost won this thing? Yeah. And
like I was saying earlier, there was a few points this match and I'm like, holy shit, it might happen. And that's exactly it. Apologies for the scratching noise in the background. I've had to lock Fergal out to finish this off because he was getting bitey and scratchy, and now he's getting bitey and scratchy at the door to get back in.
Itchy and scratchy even?
Itchy and scratchy, yes. But he's not quite learned that when he's been bad he gets put out of the room, and if he's nice when he's in the room he doesn't get put out of the room. Hopefully he gets that at some point.
Whereas Snackies is just fucking lounging against me. He's got one arm up in my leg, and so it's like if anybody comes in, he's just like, "Hey, welcome to my palace.
Paint me like your French girls.
No. It gets a lot more
graphic.
Yeah, prim. Yeah, for lack of a better sense. I can show you
Fergal's the same.
I can show you some photos where he's definitely like paint me like some of your French horse.
Yeah, I completely appreciate that.
Cats, they just don't know the boundaries. Right. By the way, snackies. Because we're about to move on to our main event, which means I need one more drink at the Sunken Norwegian.
Is that the name of the hole?
It's one more drink before we have to die.
Yeah. Fair play.
We'll
wait for Griz to come back.
I could just continue talking because I have.
Yes, we're going to go into the main event, which I'll be honest, I did not expect this to be the main event, but I'm so glad it was.
Yes, because going out of Raw, this was just going to be a one-on-one match. And then all of a sudden, during the week, it got changed to a Firefly Inferno match. And
it's one of these matches. If you're going to like break it down and talk about it, it's one of these matches where you didn't actually, nothing of great importance actually happened during it, with the exception of trying to throw the other person in the fire, which is the most important thing of great fucking importance ever, because you're throwing someone in the fire. like nothing else that happened in that match compared to the fact that you had to throw your opponent in the fire.
You had to set an opponent on fire to win this match. So Randy Orton comes out. He comes out in the full skinny jeans, which arguably is not the best skinny jeans if you potentially get your legs set on fire, because they're, clinged very tight to your legs.
Yeah, but when you're as toned as Randy Orton, they're definitely the right kind of jeans.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he looked good in them, but that's neither here nor there. That's
Robert could confirm next time we talk to him.
I bet, Randy Orton is going to win Attire of the Year on Robert's Heelys.
Probably not, but let's move on. I don't want to keep talking about his tight jeans. Right,
so this is the main event of the evening, which again we were both pretty surprised about being said main event of the evening, and considering the fact that it was only about on Wednesday it was announced that this was even going to be an Inferno match to begin with. So the match starts, no fire. Interesting. Orton attempts an RKO right off the bat, but no dice. They said that you have to light your opponent on fire, but I don't see no flames. Fiend looks for Sister Abigail, but Orton fights out. Orton tries another RKO attempt, but is countered Sister Abigail. And then Wyatt just goes, bah! And then the entire Thunderdome erupts in flames. And to be honest, what a fucking spectacle. Just look, what a vision that was.
That was awesome.
It beats any Kane pyro doobly-doo tenfold, because there was all these things here. It was like, right, so what do these do? Like, because these aren't normally there. The two start fighting outside the ring. Wyatt tries to throw Orton in the flames. Wyatt grabs a strap and then starts beating him with it. Beats Orton with it, and then he pulls out a second strap, lights that strap on fire, tries to whip Orton, but Orton sidesteps. And then Wyatt pulls out a fucking pickaxe and tries to just like smash Randy Orton's skull open with
It makes your comment about his fucking sledgehammer the other week when we were talking about war games even more ridiculous.
Yeah, a fucking pickaxe. See if Randy Orton like fucking like had like a little bit of a brain fart for like 1 second, bonk. Randy Orton's fucking murdered on television.
I'm sure it was probably rubber, but yeah. I fucking hope it was rubber.
Wyatt then grabs a rocking chair, conveniently ringside, but
the rocking chair's under the ring every fucking match.
It was in the timekeeper's area. So Wyatt grabs it, he douses it in gasoline, and then leaves a nice little snaky little trail. Puts Randy Orton in the rocking chair. Bray Wyatt pulls out a lighter. A nice little Zippo, a sweet little looking Zippo, might I add. If you're into Zippos. WWEshop.com. Zippos with the Fiend mask on it.
It won't. It's the thing is, though, it won't be actual Zippos that will be there. Cheap knockoff thing that they're selling for more money than the actual Zippo.
I know, but you could sell a Zippo for like $50 with like Fiend's like fucking face on the side.
You could walk into more or less any fucking Timpsons though and get that done if you give them the design.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, totally. You absolutely can. I've got a Zippo that's got "fuck forever" on it. That's where I got it from. Just walked into Timpsons and I was like, I want a Zippo with "fuck forever" on it. And they done it for me. Like, they can put anything on a Zippo. Or an actual real Zippo. WWE won't be selling actual real Zippos if they're it. They'll be selling lookalikes. But
it's too bad I don't smoke anymore, so I didn't really have the need of a Zippo, but nevertheless. Anyway, so Orton is placed in the rocking chair. And then Wyatt pulls out the Zippo. He lights the trail of fire. The fire goes down the line, and Randy Orton just manages to jump out of the chair before it sets itself on fire. And then the most bizarre thing of everything is it appears that the rocking chair bleeds, which was very bizarre.
I can't say I noticed that.
Well, it started to turn red, almost like it was bleeding. Maybe it was the soul of Sister Abigail. So then Orton has an axe handle, starts working on Wyatt, and then Wyatt picks up the stairs, gets a shot to the gut with the axe handle. Now Orton pulls out a chain, starts punching Wyatt in the face constantly with it. And then Orton sends Wyatt back into the ring, but Orton is having a second wrestling match with the zip ties of his hoodie because it's just constantly getting in his face. Like when he tied the chain around his hand, like the sort of pull string of the hoodie was getting like tangled in it, so he kept like throwing it. When he got in the ring, it like got wrapped around his ears, like like just get in my face. And so maybe he should have cut that off before the match started.
I was very strange that he was. I understand why he was wearing the hoodie, just in case there was any wee accidents. So at least that gave him an extra layer of protection towards the burn. But Yeah,
Should
that was
probably
a
mention.
very messy wee segment.
Yeah.
Not wee segment, but you know what I mean, like we spot in that match for that reason. But I get why he did it. If fucking I was asked to be in an Inferno match, I'd be having some fucking extra layers on just in case.
But also the fact that this match clearly wasn't recorded live. This was pre-recorded.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's kind of one of those things where, like, if Orton realized that, like, that was getting in his way, just be like, cut. Can we, like, just cut these off or something?
Was there a crowd on the screens during this match? I don't actually think I noticed. Well,
yeah,
that makes it really hard to have.
No, it doesn't.
Pre-recorded.
No, nope.
Oh yeah, they could just use a fucking any
stock crowd.
Yeah, stream of people. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
Yep. No, you're right.
Like they've recorded. Like that's part of the reason why they've done the Thunderdome is like for pre-recorded segments you can just have stock crowd there of people you've recorded in the past, just sitting there staring at the ring.
Yeah, not reacting to anything. Yes,
exactly. And then you've got the fake crowd noise just working in on it, and that's you done there. Like it makes it look good, makes it sound good, and then everything else is just.
Yeah, I can't actually argue with that. You're totally right.
Considering the fact that this match was pre-recorded, you would think that they would stop something like that and just be like, stop playing with that fucking bit of whatever the fuck it was. What do you call it? Like drawstring that you have around your neck. Like, just why don't we like right cut? Let's just cut that off so it's not in your fucking face anymore.
You think got the continuity aspect to that though? There's always going to be someone that's going to notice that was there, then it wasn't.
Yeah, probably me, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but you're a prime suspect, the type of person that thought that.
So Wyatt then gets a hold of the axe handle, lights that on fire. But Orton again prevents his fiery fate. RKO gets countered into the claw on the outside, and Wyatt starts backing Randy Orton into the flames. But as Orton gets close, he counters, still in the mandible claw, might I add, and Wyatt goes up in flames. Wyatt is like completely engulfed, and Randy Orton gets back in the ring.
Looks absolute fucking horrified as to what he's done, to be fair.
Yeah. And then the more horrific thing is Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, then runs into the ring completely engulfed in fire. Like, to continue the attack on Randy Orton while he's on fire. May I add, like, Wyatt is wearing his leather jacket the entire time. And then Randy Orton hits the RKO on the Fiend, who's on fire. Like, I'm going to say that sentence one more time. Randy Orton hits the RKO on the Fiend, who is engulfed in fire. That's almost the equivalent of that Scottish dude that headbutted that terrorist that was on fire in the airport in Scotland a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but it's pyro though. It's not real fire.
Yeah, whereas the terrorist that was on fire was on fire.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Like it totally looked amazing. And I'm not going to sit here and go, it was the real fire. It was pyro. It looked amazing, and I was fucking myself when it happened. Like it was brilliant, man.
Well, I mean, like Wyatt was actually on fire. Like, I mean, don't take that away from him.
Yeah, but it was pyrotechnic fire. It wasn't actually on fire. his gear would have been made out of the flame resistant stuff, but it's cool. Like, I'm not
No,
fucking
I mean,
saying.
yeah, like, I mean, take all that away for a second. Like, just the visual of it looked incredible. Like,
The visual was amazing.
oh
The
man,
visual was fucking quality.
so Randy Orton technically wins this match. The bell doesn't go, but Randy Orton has technically won this match, and even on commentary, they do say, "Well, Randy Orton's won this match." Then Randy Orton grabs more gasoline and pours it all over the Fiend. Pours it, pours it, pours it. Then he gets the matches, lights it on fire, and then stands there for what seems like an eternity with the match in his hand. And then he throws it. And all of a sudden, the Fiend has been changed into a pile of clothes, dressed as the Fiend. And the Fiend is just engulfed in flames.
Right, let's forget that it was just a mannequin dressed as the Fiend.
Yes.
Where
Okay.
do you think this is going?
The Fiend is going to come back, but it's going to be much worse.
It's going to be a new mask.
Yeah,
For
like
me.
a more distorted
Yeah,
and kind of like creepier version. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the Fiend himself, like I actually think the Fiend mask is kind of scary, but the new version of the Fiend, the more kind of burned, grosser version of the Fiend,
yeah.
like could be even more terrifying.
What I loved about, like, I don't know if you've seen this, but Bray Wyatt was active on Twitter after this all happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, Randy, you think you won, but you have no idea. So they're definitely going to, for me, definitely going to be unleashing a new version of The Fiend, which I think is what's needed, because you can't just keep that same thing going forever. The character has to evolve. So it'd be good to see him evolve into an even darker sort of gimmick. Because, like, The Fiend is one of the best things on television just now, and they cannot kill off The Fiend.
No.
Right now.
What they can do is they can elevate it.
Yeah, totally. And I like the fact that he was on Twitter. Like, he'd obviously set his Twitter account to auto-post round about the time that match finished, that he's like, oh, Randy, you have no idea what you've unleashed.
So was it the Fiend Twitter account or Bray Wyatt?
Bray Wyatt's.
Well, Bray Wyatt is a different person. Air quotes.
No, I don't think they've ever pushed him as being a different person.
Well, like
It's-
Bray Wyatt always implies that, like, oh, well, like, you know what, like, you and me, we're pals. But he does not like you.
Yeah, but like in commentary, they've always been referred to as the same person, because it's a multi-personality sort of thing he's going for, but it's the same person with different personalities. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's always the Fiend Bray Wyatt. It's not just the Fiend as if it's a separate person. Like, to Bray Wyatt, it's different people, but to the rest of the world, it's the same person.
Yeah. I know, but it's like that kind of thing where, like, as I say, it's good that Bray Wyatt posted it to be like, oh, he's not going to be happy with you.
Yeah, like,
And so, like, I don't know. So, what do you think? I think at this point, the Fiend should not show up. He should not be in the Royal Rumble, but he should appear in the Royal Rumble. Like,
I think you should go, see how I would do it. Genuinely, how I would do it. It should go down to Orton and Edge as the last two in the Rumble. And have
maybe not the
Fiend
last two, maybe the last four, I would say.
and have the Fiend appear and put Orton out.
Yeah, maybe the last two is a bit too, like, because I wouldn't like a Royal Rumble to end that way with somebody not in the Rumble putting him out. So maybe like say last 4, last 6, Orton like maybe goes on an RKO spree, bang, 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 bang. He takes everybody out.
Do you know what would be really cool? They won't do it, but do you know what would be really cool given the fucking how they book the Fiend?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine it gets down to Orton and Edge as the last two, right? And then suddenly Beth Phoenix appears like on the apron with the two of them. It's just like, Adam, stop this! I can't take it anymore. And then Edge is like, what? Gets distracted by that, right? The Fiend appears in the ring, right? Puts Orton out. The lights go down, the lights come back up, and it's Alexa standing on the fucking apron and not Beth. So they fucked me Edge as well.
Uh-oh.
Book it, Vince. Book it.
Interesting. That is Edge versus Bray at Mania.
No, it would probably still be Orton versus Bray. Because Edge would have won the Rumble at that point, but it'd be like, what the fuck? Because he got played with at the same time. But Bray wanted to take Orton out. So Alexa distracted Edge by being Beth.
See, this is one of the only things that...
It's really stupid and they'd never do it. But I genuinely would pop if they did that, man. Where it's like, so basically, fucking, it comes back up. The Fiend is laughing like fuck in the ring because he's taking out Orton. And then the camera pans over and Beth is actually Alexa.
Well, like, if they done it as the Final 4, that makes much more sense. Like, you know, Edge is about to go for a spear, and then the lights go out, and then they come back on as red. Fiend throws Orton out of the ring, and then the refs are still there, like, yeah, he's out. And then, as you say, like, Beth is replaced with Alexa. And then it's that kind of thing where like Edge is like, what the fuck? But then like there's still the other two in the ring that are just down. At least that.
Well, that could maybe how you book Edge getting eliminated because he's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And
maybe.
then someone throws him out. Sami Zayn or something like that throws him out. Do you know what I mean? But I think that would be pretty.
I feel like if it was the last two and that's the way the Edge wins the Rumble, is like very weird. And then like because then like Edge winning the Rumble. Or whoever's the last two in the Rumble, like they didn't technically win, and it's very weird confusion of that. So maybe it's the last 4.
But then, like you could build on from that as Edge being kind of like, I didn't deserve to win that because we were both distracted by Bray Wyatt's witchcraft and all that. I'm not sure I deserve to win that, so I'm going to defend my right to have a title shot at WrestleMania inside the Elimination Chamber. Boom.
Interesting. I like that, actually. That's actually kind of interesting.
If I win the Elimination Chamber, I take up my opportunity to wrestle for the WWE title or for a title at WrestleMania. If I don't, whoever wins it takes my place. Because they've deserved it, whereas I was kind of handed it.
It's just, as I say, the only thing I don't like about that is the whole, like, if Wyatt eliminates Orton, then it's that whole kind of thing of, like, Edge is standing there, like, okay, he's the victor, but, like, he's staring at Alexa the whole time, and then the lights go out, they come back on, nobody's there, and then all of a sudden, Edge is just like, ding, 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 honesty, I see clearly, and Edge is like, what the fuck, what? So it's like it's just I feel like I like your train of thought, but it's a very confusing ending.
Well, it's not confusing at all. Bray turns up, or the Fiend turns up, costs Orton the match, and then in order to distract Edge from the fact he's turning up to do that, his wife is on the fucking apron. His wife. But then when the lights come back on, it's not his wife, it's actually Alexa. And it's all a big fucking conspiracy. And then Edge can be like, I'm not sure I deserved that win, given what happened. Fucking put that into the story behind the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, be like, okay, not sure I deserve that, so I want to prove to myself that I deserve to go for the championship. So I'm going to put myself in the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to enter first as well. Something like that. And I'm going to go the distance, and I'm going to prove to everyone that I deserve that spot, despite what happened at the Royal Rumble. I then go do it.
That's a lot. That's a lot right there. Well, why don't we see what happens? We've got, because like the Royal Rumble is man, you're getting mauled right now.
I really fucking am. Chill the fuck out, me man, eh?
We've got over a month now between now and the Royal Rumble, because the Royal Rumble is like, I'm pretty sure is the last day of January.
31st of January, yep.
Yeah. So we got a long time before the Rumble happens. So it's an interesting concept. Why don't we see how this pans out?
It's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen.
Probably not.
I think it'd be a very interesting way for them to go about it. Where Orton's got screwed out winning the Rumble and Edge is feeling a bit guilty about it.
The whole Bray Wyatt costing Orton the Rumble idea, I don't think is a bad idea. I just don't think it's going to end the Rumble. I like your idea. I say would maybe be Final 4, Final 6, and then that's how Orton gets eliminated. I don't see it being the last two. Like,
I would like to see them do what I was saying though about Edge going, I'm not entirely sure I deserve that. I need to prove to myself I deserve it. Therefore, I'm going to defend my right to challenge in the Elimination Chamber and stuff. I think the only way they could do that would be the last two. If you do it last 4 and then Edge gets put out, it's kind of like, well,
technically not though, because like Orton gets put out illegitimately in the last like 4 or the last 6, let's say, and then Edge wins the Rumble, and then like Edge then can come out and run and be like, yeah, well, you know what? As much as Randy Orton and me don't see our ways these days, like
right, okay, Randy, yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair.
You can do it that way, and then just have it as a singles match. Because I mean, Edge apparently, as they say these days, Edge kind of just wants to work with people that he knows. So, him working with Orton again, as much as we'd rather see him wrestle other people. Like Edge just kind of wants to work with people that he knows that he can trust, and Randy Orton being one of.
I don't think that's the case, is it? I've never seen anything of him saying that.
I've
seen things of him saying that he's skeptical about who he works with, but I've never seen him saying that he's only going to work with people he knows. Like, I think in the next 12 months, provided Edge doesn't get injured again, we're probably going to see Edge and Daniel Bryan, which I'm fucking all for. That's a proper dream match.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we'll see that. Like, I know what you're saying, like, because I've heard him talking about he's only going to wrestle people he trusts, but I don't think he's ever said that it's just people that he knows or has wrestled before. Yeah. I think he's just picking who he works with. And I'd absolutely love it to be Daniel Bryan at some point soon. See if Edge wrestles Daniel Bryan and never wrestles again, I could live with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got 3. I've got Bryan, AJ, and Shinsuke.
Oh, I just came in my pants.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I made all 3. Maybe I don't think Shinsuke will happen.
No, like what you need to do is within the next year, or effectively within the next like where are we? December. So let's say 6 months. You build Shinsuke up a little. Like, let's just give Shinsuke
I'll right now. I'll just tell you why I don't think Shinsuke's going to happen.
Go on.
I don't think Shinsuke's going to happen because of his reputation, and I don't mean that in a bad thing. I just mean that because he's a very hard-hitting wrestler, I think Edge will be very standoff on doing that.
Fair.
I'd love to see it, but I just definitely don't think that one's going to happen. Him and Brian, him and AJ, fucking love to see it, 100%.
Yeah.
All for it. But I don't think him and Shinsuke's going to happen. Just for the style that he wrestles. Do you know what I mean? He's came from Japan. He's a fucking...
I don't know, but
he's hard-hitting striker, and I don't think that's the type of opponent that Edge wants to wrestle right now, for obvious reasons.
I know, I feel like more like Shinsuke's got so much more in the American style that's not as... He's learned how to be softer in everything that he does.
And I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just mean I don't think that he's going to be up there on Adam's list of people he wants to work with just now. For that reason. Like, especially given the fact there's so many other wrestlers he could work with in WWE that it's fucking money. You talk about AJ, you talk about Daniel Bryan, even Cesaro. Like, there's so many fucking people he could work with that aren't born out of that style. And I think he would just rather avoid that style altogether, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
now that I've ruined your night.
yeah, yeah, you have a lot. Cheers.
Yeah, are we going to wrap this shindig up, or anything else you want to talk about on Raw?
I suppose that's kind of it.
Yeah, Raw was shite, wasn't it?
Actually,
we should talk about Miz's promo. I thought Miz's outburst on AJ was really fucking good.
Enlighten us, because admittedly, I was kind of watching it while my last parents were over, and I only kind of half heard it because I was just trying to turn through a Raw.
Yeah, so basically what happened was AJ was the guest on Miz TV. And AJ was giving Miz a lot of shite about the fact that he jumped into the match and he cost AJ Styles and he cost both of them and he shouldn't have done it and he doesn't understand what it's like to be champion. And then Miz just goes off on one. And he says, I do understand what it's like. I was WWE champion 10 years ago. I cashed in Money in the Bank and went on to win the main event at WrestleMania, and I wanted to do that again. But it's not just about that. I've been consistent in this company for 15 years or whatever it is. I've been consistent in this company for 15 years, and no one gives me an ounce of respect. No one. Not even you. No one gives me respect. So, will you sit here and think that I was trying to screw you out of your WWE Championship? No, not at all. I was trying to satisfy myself. I was going out there because if I won that title, then maybe, just maybe, someone around here would give me the respect I deserve. Was the gist of his promo.
Epic.
But it was proper talking smack-esque.
Yeah.
Like, and the way he was standing up and he was leaning more or less nose to nose with AJ, screaming at him after AJ said that he didn't understand what that match meant. It was gold. Absolute gold. Which The Miz is so good at fucking churning out.
See, this is why he needs to ditch John Morrison. Because John Morrison is fucking...
Well, I think that's what they're leading to by this whole... John Morrison was the one that cashed in Money in the Bank, not The Miz. I don't think The Miz is going to get the briefcase back, but I think that's going to be the catalyst to break them up.
But I loved the fact that like when almost brought up the fact that John
It was John
Morrison
Morrison.
cashed in the briefcase, and then like when Morrison and AJ were talking, you just seen Miz in the background with this
Yeah,
like
he
this
started
look on
lapping
his
the
face,
ring.
like
He
holy
started
fuck.
lapping the ring, like going like, "Oh shit, you're right."
Like, he just had this look at his face, like fuck, that's just right. Yeah, no, like, and like just it's just one of these background things. Like that was perfect. The way that he was in the background,
Yeah,
like with like that look, and it's just like, hold on a second, hold on a
Miz,
second, like yeah. Almost is right, like, and then he just kind of kept wandering back and forth, but he had this look in his face, like,
Miz is very regularly the MVP of TV.
mm-hmm,
He really is. This was another example of it because
mm-hmm.
almost said that, and then even I didn't click it until the Miz had pointed it out, and he was like, "He's right." Then I thought about it. I was like, "Oh yeah," you could see him pacing in the background, like going like stroking his imaginary beard, kind of like, "He's right." Like he is right. I can get this back, and when you watch it back, you can then see him fucking putting that plan together in his head and all
Yeah,
that. Do you know what I
exactly.
mean? It's
Like
phenomenal
you
television.
could, yeah, you could see over those like about 2-3 minutes where he was like he was just running back and forth, like the look on his face, like the look on his face was perfect television because it was like, oh fuck, he was right, like, and then he wandered back and forth while John Morrison and AJ were just arguing constantly, and he's just like he's going back and forth. It's like, right, okay, yeah, almost is right. Like, yeah. And then when he joined back in the conversation, he was like, yeah, no, you're right. John Morrison cashed the Money in the Bank in. I didn't cash in, so therefore, technically, the Money in the Bank contract is still valid because I didn't cash it in. I didn't hand that to the referee. I didn't hand that to the ring announcer. And yeah, so technically, Money in the Bank is still valid, and I like, oh man, I enjoyed that so much.
I don't think he's getting the briefcase back, right?
We'll see.
But I think no, I don't think he is. But I think this is going to be their loophole to
Yeah.
not include him in the wrestlers that have cashed in unsuccessfully
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
there's a question mark over it.
an asterisk.
Yeah.
Well,
So you say like, oh, the Miz cashed in Money in the Bank unsuccessfully. However, there's an asterisk
yes.
around that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think this is going to be their way to have him cash in, lose, but not actually lose. Do you know what I mean? To not be part of the stats. And then I really hope that if that's the way to do it, they then push forward with the Miz going, I cashed in my Money in the Bank and I've never lost.
Again, as I said at the beginning of this show, that's went more longer than it probably should have. If the Miz at least gets the 30th in the Rumble for that fact, I would be opposed.
Yeah. I think it'll end up in a triple threat match for the title at the Rumble rather than 30th in the Rumble, but as long as he gets something for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could also argue he's not even a Money in the Bank winner.
Well, not the second time.
Yeah, well, he is because he won it the first time. But I mean,
Yeah.
the second time, you could argue he did not win that Money in the Bank match. Therefore, his cash in, which he lost, doesn't count because he wasn't technically the Money in the Bank winner.
He didn't lose the match. Anyway, we could go on with this for about another fucking hour and a half. So
Yeah. Shall we wrap up?
We shall wrap up.
On that note, I have been Chris motherfucking Hughes.
I have been the Griz.
Ho!
See ya later.
See you later.
Remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Heel Podcast. And also, don't forget, you can hear our archives on the World Wide Web at heelpodcast.co.uk. Well, that's all, folks. So long. Have a good day.